All right, cool. Well, hi everyone again. Pleasure to have you here. Hopefully you don't have like food coma. Hopefully you're not upset because it's sunny in London and you're here with me. I'll try to be as entertaining as possible and convey a message somehow. Is that okay? Great. So I'm Sabrina. I've worked in 5 different countries. In my career, I had my own studio. I'm from Brazil. I had my own studio back in Sao Paulo. Has anybody been in Sao Paulo? You have? Are you Brazilian? Beautiful. Ótimo. Are you Brazilian too?
No, but I've been.
You've been there? Great. So, yes, I'm from Sao Paulo. I had my studio there, but I worked in other countries like Mexico, Chile, Germany. I work in Sweden right now, so I work at King in Stockholm. I worked at Square Enix before, so I had some other perspective on how to do that. And basically, I work with almost more than 20 different nationalities and languages and cultures and approaches, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys a little bit more about how it was for me to work with people that are so different, that approach problems differently or have different opinions, and sometimes try to convey a message or have a meeting and they don't understand each other. And how do you proceed with that? Trying to be agile, which is a beautiful buzzword right now, and trying to actually develop a game. So I've probably hired, I don't know, hundreds of people, fired about 50, so that's not that bad yet. But I think building a team is very hard because it depends a lot on what's your objective. Hiring people, yes, it's not that difficult. There's a lot of people that want to work in the industry. There's a lot of people that want to work in big companies, like when you start working, for example, when I was at Square Enix or now at King, or even when I was working at Good Games. All my friends and people around was like, oh, can you get me a job? I do this and I do that, and they were all really brilliant. But it's hard to build a team, right? And that's a very nice quote here that I actually like, because I've worked with people that had like 20, 25 years of experience in the market, and they were brilliant. But at the same time, I worked with people that had 20, 25 years of experience in the market, and they were outdated, or they thought they were superstars. Or those young people that are just fresh out of college and you're like, oh, I'm so talented, I'm just so good. And it's hard, because if you're building a team, they need to function together. Have you ever entered a team, or have you ever been in a project in which there was, as we Brazilians like to call, and you know that, a little bit of drama? You know, yeah, I don't like that, or he said this, or, oh, I don't want to do this. How many people said, I don't want to use Jira, I want to use Post-its, or I don't want to use Post-its, I want everything online. So it's more about the group than having that amazing person. It's like sports. If you have one amazing Brazilian footballer, doesn't mean that the team is going to win all the time. Yeah, I'm not going to go there. I know what you're thinking. Let's just pass it. Video games. But it takes a lot of effort, right, to have a successful team. And it depends on, I think I matured throughout the years, hopefully. And now I think it's much more about mentality. Where are you? And what's your objective? And how do you connect that? What do you want to achieve with it? Do you want to make a fun game? That's one thing. Do you want to make a successful product? That's not necessarily a fun game in my point of view. Am I part of the market? Am I the niche? What am I building exactly? And I think throughout the companies that I've been in and the target audiences, I've been working with mobile free-to-play for a very long time. I did a little bit of console as well, but it just varies so much. And building that team is a lot about aligning the mentality. You do not need to have 20 white males to make it work, but you do not need to have 20 different people to make it work. It's about what they want to achieve together, sorry. So we need to combine some of the factors over here. First, you need people. To build a team, you need people, right? Yeah. Yes, thank you. And then, like I said, they need to be aligned somehow to find an objective. But at the same time, one of the things that I really like to do is align the goals. Why are they here? What do they want to do? If you're, for example, wanted to launch a game that's going to make $1 million a day, I've never done that myself, but the company I work for actually does it. Play Bubble Witch Saga 3. Okay, anyway, so if they want to launch a $1 million a day game, people need to be aligned. Of course, stakeholders will be like, yes, let's make it successful, let's do it like that. But maybe one of my artists just want to have better renders, or just want to paint better, or my coders want to have, you know, those beautiful lines of code. They have name conventions, and they're going to spend time working on documentation. And the producer is going to be like, what, guys? So we need to do this a little bit faster. And somehow, the producer, that's my opinion, right? But the producer needs to find what is the common objective over there. Is it a promotion? Is it more money? Everybody loves more money, right? Yeah. Thank you very much. So maybe is this project something that can actually help you develop inside the corporation? Or if it's a smaller team, is this something that will actually help you get the funding you need, or the publisher you need? You need to align there. Once you do that, you get ownership. They're like, okay, yes, I need to do this. It's my responsibility because I own this. And if I do this, this is what's beneficial for me, for my team, for my company, so on and so forth. I like to combine also different levels of experience. People that have been through a lot, they know better. So they're generally more preventive. They're like, okay, so I've done it like this before, and it works amazing. So many times I had like Scrum Masters coming to me and being like, no, we definitely need the Post-it wall. It works better. And we put the backlog all in Post-its. It works better. And then just to make fun, I said, what if somebody rages and goes and destroy all the Post-its, and then what we do? We write them again. Okay. But I think it's all about different levels of experience so that you have different suggestions. There's a lot of people that said, oh, have you tried this tool, that tool, or the other tool? Okay, maybe that works. It doesn't mean necessarily what worked before will work right now, but it actually is a way to start. And then the last two, I think, are the key. It's all about adaptation. You need to adapt, trust me. I had to adapt a lot. And I'll give you a little example. When I moved from Chile to Germany. Does anybody ever work with Germans here? I love them, by the way. It was right after the World Cup, so. Anyways, yes, I moved there right after, yeah, because I just really wanted to have it hard. But we are different. Brazilians and Germans are slightly different, I like to think. For me, it's all about how are you feeling? How are you feeling today? Are you okay? Are you feeling comfortable? Is there anything that I can do to unblock your road so you can develop the best game ever? And they are more like, are you doing it? Is it ready tomorrow? Great. So one of them came to me and actually said, I don't like what you've done. It broke my heart. I was like, okay. Do I cry? What do I do? Am I fired? He's unhappy. That's the first thing. The feeling came into my head. It's like, he's unhappy. So what I want to reach with the adaptation is that you first need to get to know the people you're working with. That's why some companies do 7 interviews, but you do need to get to know them or at least understand a little bit about their backgrounds. That's why onboarding is so important. Because maybe they just wanted to be direct, to be efficient. I actually want to have an hour lunch with you so that we can get to know each other better, so I know what kind of management you're used to. They just want to sit down and eat lunch and just, 15 minutes, and then we just go and do like that. So I have to learn. And it's important when you build a team that you do that you adapt it like that. Do not change all the time to make everyone happy. I discovered it. They're not going to be happy. Not everybody's going to be happy, but as long as I am, no, I'm kidding, but as long as you can actually get something without that much stress, it's even better. And the vision, right? It's very broad for you to come and say, let's make a successful game. What does that mean? What is success? Is it top 1, top 10, top 3, top 100, 300? How much money? How many users? Retention? What's the percentage? Is it just to get return on investment? I don't even know. So if you give them a vision, you give them the freedom, but at the same time, you give direction, right? What is the frame that you need to be inside? What are you doing? You want to make the best bubble shooter. Okay. For whom? So give them exactly and clearly what the objective is so that you discuss the interpretation of that. And I think that's the rich part about building a team, right? And talk. How many people here has already had communication problems in a team while working at games? Come on, bring it up, guys. Absolutely. And how many of you, you don't even need to raise your hand, but how many times have you seen two people working? One desk is here, the other desk is here, and they're doing the same task just because they didn't looked at each other and talked. And I find it still funny when people say, I don't know why we need to do daily stand-ups. You know, we just need to report what we're doing. Like, well, in theory, it's more than reporting what you're doing. But that's why, because if you didn't look at Jira or at the board, and you didn't say what you were doing, you're going to do the same tasks. Who doesn't want to draw characters, right? Who doesn't want to paint? Who doesn't want to do the AI? Of course. But you need to talk to each other. And somebody once, when I was doing this, somebody interrupted me and said, what about introverts? I was like, what about them? They don't talk? It's like, no, I mean, they're not going to come like you and just say. I said, yeah, I know. That's why. You can ask them, you can have one-on-ones, you can have them write you a message on whatever you use, Skype or whatever it is that you use. You can have them write anonymous post-its. I do say that to people. So just send me an anonymous post-it if you don't feel comfortable in telling me what's the problem. But that's why you have retrospectives as well. It's not just to talk about feelings. It's to give everybody an opportunity to voice something out even if they're shy or introverts. But anyways, it's a lot about teamwork, right? You show me yours, I'll show you mine. We work it together, we discuss it. I discovered that it helps so much when you're planning something that you actually, after you do the whole planning, you sit down with the people and you discuss how are you going to build that feature? How are you going to integrate? What is the dependencies? Show what you're doing to people. They will show what they're doing and it's going to be aligned. It's ownership. Give them the actual responsibility. It's not just telling a developer like, oh, you're going to do this AI. This is your task. Bye. It's about, okay, you're going to do this AI, and that's going to give us liquidity for players, and that's all multiplayer is going to do this, or this is going to be the difficulty of the level, and because of that, our retention is going to be, give them the real story. Even if they say they don't care about the business, it's always important to see how much impact exactly every team member is going to have on the development. That's crucial. They feel ownership, they feel part of it. And then me as a producer, I do not have to carry on my shoulders the weight of the business alone. They will help me get there. And then alignment. Unfortunately, I don't know who decided English was the language, right? Somebody did. You got to learn English and you're going to work in English. I speak Portuguese, by the way, not Spanish. Well, I speak Spanish, but I speak Portuguese. And so I have people from all over the world working in English. How many English, non-first language English speakers I have here? It makes me so happy. So you understand what I mean, right? You're in a heated discussion and you want to express yourself. And this language doesn't have enough words, right? Am I right? It's like, then sometimes I was like, maybe I dance or I do some body kind of thing so they understand what I am. And in the end, they're just like, oh, you're so passionate. And maybe, but it's just, it's very hard. But that's the point that I want to make is that don't forget, things do get lost in translation. Believe me, I was a teacher of English for 4 years in Brazil. Things do get lost in translation. Things are misinterpreted, especially if you're working with native speakers. If I come in, you're like, oh, I hate this. It just means that I dislike it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to die because of it. So that's also important to keep in mind. And communication, again, evolves. English does get better. Now that people work in English, it does get better. I mean, miracles happen. Like, you get better. And then team culture. There's a lot of debate, and I could be talking, I have like 5 more minutes. I could be talking about this forever. Please grab me for a coffee later. But what I want to say about team culture, you need to create always from the start. Every team is different. And it could be like, in November, it was just us. But if in December, it's all of us, it's a different team. It is a different team. And perhaps what was working here will not work with you guys. I still like you guys as well. That's not the point. But it's just, it might not work. It might not work. And you need to revisit that all the time. And what is it? Is it a team that hates meetings? Everybody hates meetings. But is it? Or is it a team that wants to have their opinion or at least be heard in everything? Do they need constant feedback? Is it once a month? How do you test your game? Is it a team that wants to play the game? Because that's also very challenging. If you're making your game in your feature, you're not going to play the whole game. I'm just going to test my level and that's it. No. But you need to create the culture. It's a habit, right? It's about anything else that we do. It's just habit creation. But have the team understand that you're working for it. And reward them. If you don't have a budget to reward your team, then do something different. I don't know, make them create something. Give them a creative day. It doesn't really matter. But get this culture going. It helps a lot with team retention. Because let's face it, right? The industry is growing. Opportunities are growing. Look at me. I've been in 5 different countries in 4.5 years. So I have to say that I've been hopping around. But it is important to keep the talented in your employees in your team. You want that. So make sure that they understand that they are working for a culture and with other people, and their actions do impact. Whatever they're working do impact everything else. Other tips. My tips, this is what I do now. This is what I do. I have one-on-ones with everybody in my team. But I have the luxury of having a small team. I already had 80 people in my team, and that was impossible to have one-on-ones with everybody. One-on-ones does not mean a date. It means I sit with them for 15 minutes and just talk. And sometimes they don't want to open up, so I just talk about me. And then, yeah, because I like doing that, by the way. But then they feel comfortable enough to talk about themselves as well. 3? Okay. Have team lunch, have team events, and one thing we do, I don't take the team out for lunch and pay for it all the time. Have you ever been to Stockholm? It's very expensive, by the way. So I don't do that. But we do bring our food, and we just sit together, and we eat lunch together. And that's a team lunch. I actually schedule it, but we just bring our food. It's just normal. But we talk about other things besides work. Because, yeah, we spend a lot of time together, right? Knowledge sharing. Make them present something they like or whatever it is that they play, or talk about a game they played before or a book, whatever. Just share. Do game jams. Do a team wall. Make them put up their art there or whatever it is that they want, or memes or pictures of me with drawings, it doesn't matter. But give them a space to express themselves. And facilitate team dialogue. It's so easy to say, oh, facilitate team dialogue. What does that even mean? Maybe when they say something, repeat after it, or say it again with different words. Double check. Actually help them get what they want, especially if they don't understand each other. I have a whole other bunch of slides, but because time is running out, I would like to open for questions, because nobody is able to ask any questions because the sessions are so short. So I do hope that you guys ask me questions now. We have 2 minutes, but thank you so much for listening. Yes, good. But don't leave me talking alone, so please, questions. Come on. Yes. Wait, microphone.
Hi, I was just wondering what your approach is with a small team that's extremely dysfunctional.
Yeah.
So like you have people, you know, like you were saying, when you have people who are all very talented in their own area, but none of them know each other's areas, and then it's really difficult to get them to bond. So do you have any good tips for that? Yeah,
sure. I think, like I said, you need to find something in common, right? The fact that they work with video games, they probably like it. So, and trust me, I had my own company, we were 7 people. And some people were like, first-person shooters, I hate them. And we had almost nothing in common. It was very, very hard, and everybody felt entitled. We millennials are just, ugh. But anyways, what I would suggest, they do need to spend more time together doing something other than working. Eating is something that every human being has in common, even though I met some people that don't eat, which I don't trust them. But you need to find something that they can do together. Or make them solve something together in which they need each other or they trust each other, because that's it. They are going to be dysfunctional in the beginning, and it's all about trust, right? If you don't trust that the other person is going to deliver on time or is going to understand what you're saying, there's a barrier. So I don't know them. We can talk about it later. You can give me more examples or more characteristics, but I would either have them solve something together or have them spend time doing something else, talking about something else besides just work. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, cool. More, please.
I got time for one more.
One more question.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you deal with people that have a very, very bad opinion about the project they're working on?
When they say like, oh, this game sucks, I hate it.
Yeah. More like we've been developing this, and this, and I see no change on the KPIs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, if there are no change over KPIs, you need to give them hope, right? Or you need to actually say it's gonna change. First, you need to believe that it's gonna happen, because they know, right? I think it's about attitude. It's like I said, if they feel the ownership, indifference becomes smaller, so they will not be like, there are no changes here, I don't need to do anything about it. If they feel responsible for it, they will definitely do something about it. And there are some times that I have people saying like, well, we don't have enough documentation on this. Then I just, great, would you like to start making it? Why not? You found the problem. Let's try to make a solution together. Because until they come up with solutions instead of problems, it's very challenging, right? So I would just turn to them and be like, okay, so what can you do to make it better? Or what do you suggest? And something like that. Yeah, sorry, time's up. Thank you so much, guys. It's a pleasure.